Hello, my name is Joan Zahn, and I'm Palestinian Christian. And I guess continuing to hear our mainstream media try and tell the world that Israel is defending itself, all whilst our supposedly predominantly Christian Western world governments try and tell the world that they're in hysterics about ISIS terrorism and that they're fighting ISIS terrorism, all whilst they continue to support Israel's exact same terror, death and destruction of all of historical Palestine, is what has finally prompted me to speak out in this way. First of all, no, our governments are not Christian. Hello, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Palestine are supposed to be sacred holy places to every single Christian worldwide. So no, not Christian. Wouldn't know Christianity if it smacked them upside their head and knocked them the hell out, nor would anyone else who supports the terror, death and destruction of the land and place and people where Christianity originated from, for Christ's sake. No, not Christian, not even human, if you can support the terror, death and destruction of anyone for any reason, let alone Christian. And no, Israel is not defending itself while it continues to ethnically cleanse all of historical Palestine. No, far from. Growing up as a Palestinian Christian, the granddaughter and daughter of Palestinians who are victims of Israel's murderous expulsion of Palestinians, I grew up with the knowledge of how the State of Israel was created. And Israel was created from terrorism. Israel was literally born from terrorism and continues on in a system of terror, death and destruction. In fact, the world's first ever terrorist bombing attack was committed by Israeli Zionist terrorists on a crusade of Palestine, literally going through from village to village, mass murdering and massacring Palestinians. Palestinians who sought refuge in churches of all places were not even spared, were hunted down and massacred, which is the complete opposite of the cult whitewash version of history fed throughout the Western world. But outside of that initial history of the pain and suffering, I decided this year, 2015, to venture on over to Palestine, because I wanted to see for myself what's going on over there now, today. And sure enough, what I found was the exact same system of terror, cleanse and expel against all native Palestinians. So I guess I'm just wanting to highlight what are myths, what are facts, what is truth and what are lies. A lot of people falsely believe that what's going on in Palestine is a religious war. It's been going on forever and a day. No, this is Zionist cult propaganda. What a lot of people are not aware of is that native Palestinians consist of native Jews, Muslims and Christians, all of which have been persecuted and ethnically cleansed and sadly continue to be persecuted and ethnically cleansed. In fact, Jews who oppose the Zionist state are persecuted worse than anyone. So no, it's not a religious war. And here's another fun fact. Native Palestinian Jews, Muslims and Christians coexisted peacefully for century upon century prior to the creation of that terrorist, racist, genocidal ideology known today as Zionism, and that is responsible for the creation of that terrorist Jewish caliphate, aka fake Jewish state. Now when I say fake Jewish state, I say that because the religion of Judaism forbids the creation of any Jewish state. So it goes against the religion of Judaism. So no, it's not a religious war. To break it down as simply as I can, what's going on in Palestine is European colonization and ethnic cleansing. That is it. That's the story in a nutshell. And it's going on right now on our watch list. So no, it's not a religious war. A lot of people also falsely believe, this is one of my favorites, that the modern state of Israel is Israel of the Bible. No, it's not Israel of the Bible. The Zionist colony that our media likes to refer to as Israel is exactly that, a colony. A European colony, to be specific, that was created in 1948 upon the blood and suffering of all native Palestinians. Zionists were, however, very clever and cunning in stealing the name Israel from the Bible in order to dupe the masses into blind support of what has pretty much been the continued terror, death and destruction of all of historical Palestine. So no, it's not Israel of the Bible. And finally, and this is another one of my favorites, a lot of people falsely believe that the people who populate Israel, which is occupied Palestine, are the Jews of the Bible. No, they aren't the Jews of the Bible. They are European migrants to the land of Palestine. How has this cult whitewash version of history been fed throughout the Western world? Well, there are three main methods. The first is clearly through our Zionist-owned media and our puppet governments, and the first is a no-brainer, really. The second, I'm told by people who were Zionists, however, upon learning the truth, are now on the right side of humanity, who tell me that they were taught this whitewash version of history through their education system from a very young age. And the third has been through the creation and use of the Schofield Bible. The Schofield Bible is a fraud Bible. It was written by a convicted felon Zionist, someone who was completely non-religious, purely for political gain. And it's been used as a tool in order to trick people and indoctrinate people into thinking that Zionism is Christianity. Zionism is not Christianity. Zionism is a cult. Zionism is to Christianity what the KKK is to Christianity. Zionism is to Christianity what ISIS is to Islam, in the exact same way that ISIS is a terrorist insult to Islam. I assure you, Zionism is a terrorist insult to Christianity. How on earth can Zionism possibly be Christianity if it's been persecuting and mass murdering fellow Christians, in fact the first ever Christians for the past 7 decades? The answer is very, very simple. It's not Christianity. Past that, what everyone needs to learn and understand before there will ever be a true peace for both people is what is at the root cause of the cycle of violence, and that is that Israel continues to ethnically cleanse Palestine, and in defiance of 77 international human rights laws, Israel continues to illegally occupy Palestine with their military. That occupation is a terrorist occupation that has been murdering Palestinians, Jews, Muslims and Christians day in and day out for the past 7 decades. And here's another fun fact. Under international law, Palestinians have the legal right to resist their occupier by any means necessary. So it's the Palestinians who are defending themselves, not the other way around. How will we ever get our terrorist governments to put an end to Israel's terror, death and destruction of Palestine? The only way is if enough good people of good conscience collectively raise our voices to let the powers that be know that this is not okay and that it needs to stop. But most importantly, that we all want a true peace for both people. So if you're like me and you actually want a true peace for both people and an end to the death and destruction, and you think that you might know anyone who might learn something from anything I've just said, well then pass this on. Be my guest. It's up to us to collectively raise our voices to break down that ugly wall of shame, hopefully sometime in our lifetime, and bring an end to the pain and suffering and the death and destruction, but most importantly, a true peace for both people. Thank you for listening. Thank you if you pass this on. Peace to you, but most importantly, hopefully sometime soon, peace for Palestine. Peace out.